Hello and welcome to the Fergie's Podcast. My name is Nathan and I'm joined today, as always, with my good friend Ahmad.
Hi Nathan, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. I should say Dr. Ahmad, shouldn't I? Because that's
You can. Like I don't ask people to say that, but if they want to.
I like it. I like it. Dr. Ahmad. It's nice to sort of say to friends and family, I'm friends with a doctor.
I mean, I went through 7 years of med school just for those two letters in front of my name.
And a full stop, right?
Yeah, true. Where's it?
We've come on here to talk about Manchester United, as usual. There's an international break, so there's no matches to look forward to. And did we have a game since the last time we spoke? We haven't, have we?
I think it was the Villa game, yeah.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
Well, after our predictions of getting hammered, well, definitely from my side, talking about getting hammered, I don't know what's worse, that 0-0 draw or getting stuffed with a load of goals. But both teams just seem to be absolutely knackered.
Yeah, I agree. I think Villa were coming down from the win versus Bayern, so I think it always happens when you have like this big win. The next game, it's always you take a bit to get into the rhythm again. And United, I don't know, like the formation we went in, it was obvious we were trying just to not concede, just to be solid, not concede. We didn't really aim to win the game. I don't feel we were aiming to win the game.
That's the feeling that I got as well. Like it really felt like there was a huge opportunity there for us to take Villa to task, because all it needed was for us to mount some sort of like structured attack. And I think we probably would have found our way to goal. But we just looked so flat, and it just, I don't know. It's every week, you know, we either get one thing right and another thing spectacularly wrong. So we'll defend well and not concede, but we won't score any goals, or, you know, we won't be able to defend well and we'll concede like tons of goals and not score at the other end. Like it doesn't feel like there's much progress to be made, but Ten Hag seems to think that all it needs is for the team to click. He was quoted after the game, and I think in an interview afterwards, he was saying, you know, don't judge us now, judge us at the end of the season. We just need a bit of luck and we just need things to click, which I get, I understand. Like, I know where he's coming from with stuff like that. But in your eyes, do you think there is any real progress that we've made since, I don't know, since the beginning of the season, since last year, since Ten Hag has been in charge? Or do you think we're going backwards?
Okay, like I've said on previous podcasts, I think I've been seeing signs of progress, signs that we're working on things. But I always give Ten Hag the benefit of the doubt. But the thing I'd say is, in the Villa game, I think he completely abandoned everything he's been trying to implement on the team, just because he wants to get the result that might keep him in the job. And I think I think that's a bit unfortunate, I'd say. But then again, we always say, why isn't he pragmatic? Why doesn't he like change up the team? Just why doesn't he set up the team to be more solid? But I just felt like he spent all that money on his players, and then he literally just put them on the bench and put the players like with Johnny Evans and Maguire. So I don't know, it didn't make sense. So in my eyes, if there was any progress being made, I think it's been halted in its tracks now after that game. Even though we didn't lose, but I don't know. I just don't see it. What about you?
I think we were going to open the show with talking about the fact that Ten Hag is staying. It seems, you know, there was a lot of rumours after the Aston Villa game or there was a lot of rumours after the Spurs game that he would get Paul Tull and he would get Villa in an effort to try and prove that we are making progress, and that some people speculating that those two results would define his career and whether or not he got fired. I don't necessarily think that was true, and I think that would be very short-sighted of Ineos to judge his performance based on just 2 games anyway. However, I don't think we're seeing any patterns to his play. I don't think we're seeing anything that's useful. And I'm very surprised that there wasn't any announcement yesterday. Like yesterday, we're recording on Thursday. There was a meeting on Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
There was a meeting on Monday and Tuesday where it was speculated by a lot of the people in the press saying that there was going to be a big meeting. It was scheduled, obviously, so it's not like it was just because they wanted to talk about Ten Hag and his future. But obviously, the direction of the club was probably brought up within those conversations. Then there was, mischief makers saying that Ten Hag's gone. That's it. He's going to be out on his ear. And then there was people like Laurie Whitwell from The Athletic that was saying, it's just business as usual. And I think one of the guys, is it David McConnell from The Mirror?
Yeah.
He essentially came out and said yesterday that he doesn't expect Ten Hag to be fired. And I think a few other people then started coming out and saying, like, he's going to get until the end of the season. And is that the right decision? Is it the right decision? Should he be given until the end of the season, considering, as you said, he brought Johnny Evans and Maguire into his first team, which I thought we looked far more solid with Johnny Evans at the back. He was like a real throwback to the good old days of like Vidic and Ferdinand, just throwing himself into every challenge. He's 36, 37 years old. He'd left Martinez and De Ligt on the bench. He'd left Ugarte on the bench, who's becoming a major concern, by the way, even though we're only a few weeks into his career. Didn't get played at all, not even off the bench. Anthony on the bench as well. Who else was on the bench that was one of his players? There was over 300 million. Well, I guess Anthony accounts for 90 million.
Exactly, yeah. Anthony, Casemiro, just Detect Martinez. Those, and Ugarte. I think most of these are the players that like you'd think he's building his team around. At least Martinez and Detect. Like that's what I think. However, like going back to what you were saying about the reports coming out that he's going to stay. Interestingly, last night, Fabrizio Romano, he came out and he said that Ineos still haven't communicated anything to him. So like they haven't told him that. Yeah, they haven't told him that he's staying in the job or anything. I don't know if that's like a given. That why would you tell someone, okay, you're not going to get fired if you're not going to fire him? Like, but I still think something might happen in these few days. Maybe they're just still working out like the replacement or something. I'm not sure. I think the reason.
Sorry, so you think that there's still a possibility that he's going to go then?
Because every report I'm reading, none of the reports were saying like he's gonna stay because they decided he's gonna stay. The only reason he's staying is because we haven't heard anything yet. So like he hasn't heard anything yet. We haven't heard anything yet. So we never know. But like it's not like I'm hoping that he leaves. I don't think that's the solution to everything. But yeah, I just don't see where the team's gonna go. We have like it's still so early in the season, and we're 6 points off top 4, I think, and we're also 5 points off the relegation zone. So it can go literally either way. And I don't know if it's a risk they're taking. I mean, if you want to change a manager, now is the perfect time. Then any new manager will have the time to settle in, to work with the players. So maybe they're giving him a chance until the next international break. I don't know. Or they just decided we're going to keep him until the end of the season, no matter what, which I don't think makes sense. I don't know.
I think it'd be really helpful if, and this was brought up on the Athletics Talk of the Devils podcast, someone sent a question in and said, what is the project? I think a lot of fans would be far more forgiving of what's happening with Ten Hag at the moment and the team in general if we knew that this is part of the project, if we knew that there is going to be this short-term pain for long-term gain. But right now, we've not been told what the project is. We keep hearing Omar Barada come out and say things like, we want to win the league by, what is it, 3 years, 4 years?
2028, yeah.
Which seems like a lifetime away. And he's talking about winning the league then, which is great, and I'm sure it gets the staff motivated and things like that. But while I don't want to turn to the US model of sports where essentially it's quick turnover in managers and coaches, and before the season's even started, you get rid of the coach because it's just not working. I do feel like they need to make some sort of statement right now. And I don't think that the interviews that they've provided so far, especially with Ashworth and Barada, I don't think it entirely backs a project. It backs Ten Hag and says, we chose him, we want to go ahead with him, but it doesn't back a project because we don't know what the project is.
I think the only thing that the fans have been hearing regarding the project is that we're targeting younger players, a certain age group, and we're going away, we're moving away from the from buying these older end of their career players. That's the only thing I can think of. I don't know if there's anything else, but regarding the manager, it's just exactly what you said. Where's the process in that? Because it's obvious he's not their choice. It's been obvious since the summer. He's not their first choice. So what are you doing keeping him until now? And not even just proving to everyone that, okay, he's our choice. He's going to stay no matter what. And so just to kill off all those rumors of him every time, after every result, he's going to get the sack. He's going to get the sack. So they should find something to fix that, because right now it's not helping the team, it's not helping the manager, and it just keeps going lower and lower every time.
I think the big issue is, obviously, we spoke about this over WhatsApp the other day. One of the biggest issues is Ineos, or Man United management now, I keep calling them Ineos, they need to, it's not just getting rid of Ten Hag, they need to unpick all of these mistakes they've made over the summer. So you can't just get rid of Ten Hag and then bring in a new manager, because the new manager, as you rightly said, is going to want to bring in his own team. He's not going to want to work with Rene Hackey. He's not going to want to work with Ruud van Nistelrooy. He's going to have his own people, and he's going to have his own ideas, and he needs the right people to be able to drive that forward. So Tuchel's not, for example, isn't just going to drop in and work with the current setup. To promote Van Nistelrooy, which would obviously placate fans for short-term benefit, is he good enough for it? What impact is he having right now on the team? I said this last week. What impact is he having on the team right now? What's he actually doing apart from telling Højlund to score a goal? What's his bigger impact? What's Rene Hacker's bigger impact on this? Are they ready for such a job? Are they ready for 6-7 months in one of the most intense jobs in world football? Probably the most intense job in world football. I just can't see how United's management can just move from Ten Hag to whatever this new future would be. So I think that's one of the things that's slowing them down from making any decisions. They're just not, they're not prepared to do anything yet, because there's going to be financial ramifications. There's going to be complete disruption through the coaching staff and the setup and the players as well. How do you manage that?
You have to, though. You can't just keep him just because you don't want to take that decision. And just because you never know, maybe we've seen a lot of times that a change of manager, even though it's not the only thing that's affecting the team, even though the manager isn't the only bad thing about a team, but a change of manager could literally have ramifications on other things that we don't even think of, and it could lead to better results, more confidence, better mood, and like eventually a better season, which is what we want.
I think that, just playing devil's advocate here for a second, it does, if we do keep him, it stops the managerial merry-go-round. Would that, in your eyes, be a good thing? Because obviously the players are so used to managers sticking around for 2 years and then getting the boot. Definitely ones that have seen like 3 managers since they've, in the last like 5-6 years. Do you think that could be a positive if Ten Hag does stay and is given more of an opportunity to impress himself, or do you just think it's a lost cause right now?
I'm actually with the idea of not changing managers every 3 seasons. I'm actually with the idea of sticking with a manager, like even when it's going really bad, because eventually it has to change. It has to turn. What I'd say for now is because since the beginning of the season, it's been really, really bad. I haven't seen anything from the team. It gets more and more boring watching the team. Like you have less, I don't know, you have less urge to watch the team every single game. And I don't think that's a good thing for us as fans or for the players. What I think, and probably Ineos are thinking that as well, that they're giving him this next run of games because he could argue that the past 5-6 games haven't been the most favorable fixtures for Ten Hag as a manager, and the fixtures we have coming up, even though they're not easy, but they're a bit better than the ones that we've had. So maybe they're thinking, okay, we're just gonna give them this next set of 6-7 games before the next international break. Some players are going to come back, probably like Luke Shaw. He keeps on bringing up Luke Shaw as if he's the final piece of the jigsaw. So I think probably that's their thinking process right now. And I mean, we have Brentford and Abasha. I don't know. We have some winnable games there, but we can easily just lose all of them.
Exactly. That's the thing. Even if you look at the fixtures and say, we should be able to win those, you just don't know what you're getting on a game to game basis with this squad. You just do not know.
Yeah, but what do we do if they actually keep him and then we start we lose the first game against Brentford, which is very valid, and then we lose the next game against Fenerbahce, and then I think we have West Ham away next, and then we have Chelsea home. Okay, so if you get 1 win out of the next 4, you're gonna have to sack him. You can't just keep him. So, and you're gonna look back. Why haven't we done that in the past, in the previous international break, which is this one, and give the new manager time, and we would have had more time to look for a manager or to deal with a manager, and for the manager to deal with the players, and we could have gotten the points against Brentford. We could have gotten the points against West Ham. So it's a mess. We could look back, if we actually go through the next set of fixtures and we don't get results, the next international break we could be sitting at 16th, 15th, maybe 10, 15 points off top 4, and the season's done. So there's literally no need. Yeah,
we're only in 14th now. It's a short drop to 16th.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Looking at I don't want to say in the relegation zone because that's too much. It could be.
Could. Well, that's a seriously gloomy section of the podcast, but let's hope that the next section is a little bit more positive. So one of the things that we haven't quite established in the podcast, I know we're on episode 4 now, but is where we are, who we are. Obviously, you're a doctor. We've done that bit. Did that right at the top of the show.
Yeah.
I've done that bit. Obviously, we're both Manchester United fans. I think we touched on that in the first episode. But the I guess the defining thing with, to my knowledge, is we're the only Manchester United podcast in Dubai.
You did your research.
Did a little bit of research, yeah, but I couldn't find any other Dubai-based podcasts. Obviously, for listeners that are around the world, it's significant because just an hour and a half down the road, we've got the home of Manchester City in Abu Dhabi, and so obviously there's big. For those that don't know as well, there is big rivalries between Abu Dhabi and Dubai as to where the best place is. Abu Dhabi is the capital. Dubai is the, I don't know, is it the hypothetical capital of the UAE? Is that how people from all over the world kind of see it?
I think it's the city that everyone knows. Not everyone knows Abu Dhabi.
True. Apart from the 115 what is it? Yeah, 115 City fans and the 115 allegations that they're currently fighting in court with Manchester City right now. Just obviously being based in Dubai, I'm from Manchester originally. But I've been out here for like 9 years, and I was surprised to find such a thriving football scene out here. Like there's football pitches everywhere, and the difference between here and the UK is they're all immaculate. All the facilities are like absolutely amazing all around. Apart from one place that I've played here, it's that place that's in Al Quoz. You've probably played there as well, where there was like holes in the AstroTurf. It was an indoor court, and it was just, there were just holes in there. So, we met in the gym because we used to go to the same gym, and then we started playing football together, which was again solidifying the ideas for this podcast eventually.
Do you remember how we actually met? The first time we spoke, it was after the 7-0 Liverpool defeat.
Yeah, was I wearing a United top in the gym?
No, I've seen, I don't think you'd wear the United top a day after losing 7-0 to Liverpool.
I remember he came up to me and asked me in Arabic if I spoke Arabic. Yeah.
I don't know why I felt like you're Egyptian.
Yeah, that's not the first time, mate. I've been asked if I was Moroccan, Egyptian. Yeah, I get a lot of those. So I don't speak any Arabic at all, and I really should, because all three of my kids can speak Arabic. So
no way,
yeah. So it's ridiculous that I don't. But yes, I remember we had a chat in the gym about United, and I think even then, that was like over 2 years ago, we talked about potentially doing a podcast, I think.
Yeah. It's been a long time in the workings.
Exactly. It's a work in progress, but do you know what? We've seen some actual progress and the finished result, unlike Ten Hag's Manchester United. So I couldn't help throw that in there then. But I watch United in Dubai. There's a lot of United fan clubs out here. I've been to a lot of United themed events out here because I'm a journalist, so I used to cover those things as well. I met Dwight York and Andy Cole at a Karcher. You know who Karcher is?
No.
No, they do jet washes and taps and things like that.
Okay.
And they were a major sponsor for Manchester United. I'm not sure if they are now, but I met those guys out here, which was interesting because my mum had previously dug out my photos from years and years ago when I used to go and watch the team train at the Cliff when I should have been at school. And I've got a picture with Dwight York and I've got a picture with Andy Cole. So before the interview with them, as an icebreaker, said, look, we've actually met before, and showed them on my phone. And Andy Cole was like, Dwight, look at this. Look, quick, come here. And then they were both looking at it and it's like, oh my God, like we look like so young. And, it was a nice icebreaker because then the rest of the conversation was decent after that.
That's nice.
And then I've interviewed, I'm basically talking about all the connections with Manchester United out here. I've interviewed Rio Ferdinand out here when he was here for the Dubai 30 by 30 challenge.
Did you?
Yeah. So he does he was here when I think it was the first ever 30 by 30 event, which is, for anyone that doesn't know, Dubai basically it's 30 days from the end of October until the end of November, where they try to encourage everyone in the Emirate to do some form of exercise, 30 days for 30 minutes. So, it's a good thing. So he was here doing, basically promoting it. So I interviewed him. We had a chat and he signed one of my shirts. And then I was at another event for Stranger Things the following day. There is a reason why I'm going off on this tangent.
Stranger Things serious?
Yeah. So I went to a hotel where they was hosting an event, and I was walking through the hotel, and there was lots of media there and lots of people, and there was loads of people going, "Well, that's Rio Ferdinand. There's Rio Ferdinand." Like sat down, and he was like booking something in as you do. He was here on holiday with his now wife, and so we're all like walking by, and everyone's like pointing at him, and there's a bit of a furore. And he looks up and he sees me and he goes, "All right," like waves to me, because obviously I'd interviewed him the day before. So he did that double take of like, hang on, that's that guy from yesterday. And then, so it was like, yeah, friends with Rio Ferdinand, lads. Yeah. Yeah, obviously not, but it was just, it was a good coincidence that. And I've seen the United team often come out here. Have you ever seen them when they've been out here, by the way? For their one where they're training?
Every time they come, I'd be out of the country.
Is that intentional? Are you not allowed to be 10 feet?
They know. I'd let out my frustration, but if they come now, they're gonna have to put a restriction. Like, I don't know. What is it called?
Like a restraining order.
Restraining order, yeah, that.
Wow.
Because to be honest, I'd go for the law first.
So they stayed at the one and only hotel. I don't know if you know that one.
Yeah, my friends went too.
Okay, so yeah, they stayed there, and I was just at the bar having a drink after work, and they all came walking through, and it was funny seeing like Phil Jones, Luke Shaw, Ashley Young all just playing pool in their tracksuits, like, and it was just milling about everyone. People obviously knew who they were, but they weren't being hounded for autographs or anything. And then Pogba comes walking through, and I just remember like his bodyguards, obviously, because he's Paul Pogba, like pushing young people out of the way, just trying to get away from him. And it was in that moment, like, he's very tall, by the way, like an absolute imposing figure. So you can imagine him on the pitch being like devastating to play against. But it was at that moment when I was like, yeah, there you go. There's the difference between a Manchester United player and a player that is only about his own brand. His own things. But, Shaw, Young, Johns, they were all stopping for photos with people. So yeah, that was fun. But yeah, just going back, that was, we must be going like 5 years now.
18 maybe, yeah.
So yeah, it must be 2018, 2019, yeah. But they always come out here, and they always do their warm weather training out here. It's one of the places where footballers come out to. Arsenal's always out here, during the winter months. Sheffield United, big team, they're out here. Newcastle have been out here, but now they do their training in Saudi, of course, obviously because they're owned by the Saudis now. But it's one of those places. Dubai's one of those places that does have like a really strong football like fandom underneath it, and they do. they do a lot of the bars here. This is one of the funny things. I don't know if you know this, Alan, but this is one of the funny things. Western media always try to paint the bar as like completely dry. You can't get beer anywhere. You know, if you do have a beer, if you do manage to get it, it's like you're going to get arrested and things like that. Like, I'm not saying that rules aren't in place, but the exact opposite is completely true of this place. Like, there are bars. I think the Red Lion on Shakeside Road is an official Manchester United fan bar. So people go down there to watch it. I've been to the one in Biblos. I think that might have changed now in Ticom. That used to be a decent place to watch United. They had a huge screen that was, I say screen, it was a projector, but it must have been about a good 30 foot, the actual screen. You could see it from the road. Like, if you lived across the road in one of the apartments, you could see it like on the actual building being played out. It's weird to be this far away from Manchester, but have so many Manchester United fans around, which obviously is a joke in itself for anyone that doesn't support United. Because that's the big thing, isn't it? We're never from Manchester. But where do you go to watch United when you're out? Do you ever go any places?
I was gonna say, like I have to watch United at home. Like, I have to watch them alone. Like, I need to. It's like, even my friends, they always tell me, just come watch the game with us. Like, I'm like, no. I can watch any other game, but like United, I have to, because it's 90 minutes, and I need to concentrate. Like, I love watching them, like, even though they're bad, I need to be focused for the 90 minutes. I don't like being distracted, people talking to me or whatever. I love just watching those 90 minutes, like alone. Or like with the United fan, like at home, but I don't like going out watching it somewhere else,
Right. So that literally killed off my question about where you go to watch it if you're
true.
if you're watching Manchester United. So I'm down a dead end, but I'll try and dig myself back out of it. The only place I usually watch it at home as well. My kids have no interest in football. We take them to play every now and again. Coincidentally, they play for a team called Gulf United, and the guys that set that up are all from Manchester and all United fans. And the dad of one of the main coaches and one of the players that plays for Gulf United as well is, I think it's John Shields, MBE. He's the head of the Manchester United Foundation, the charity that's connected to Man United. So he's like the head guy, and he's been rewarded with these services to charities and things. So there is, again, more of a strong Manchester United connection. And it's actually, whenever I watch football, it's at home with the kids telling me to turn it off because they want to watch something else. Or I go to, there's a bar around the corner where I've been like once on my own, just because I don't want them to be so stressed. Like with me shouting about Man United, I don't need to impose that on them. But I tend to watch it at home. And the mad thing is, again, for any listeners that are back in the UK, 3 p.m. kickoffs, we get all of them here. We get every single.
Yeah, they're struggling with that. Yeah.
And back in the UK, they don't have it.
Man,
Premier League games, the 3 p.m. games on a Saturday, they're just not on. And I know there's rules and sort of like reasons why they don't do it. It's because they want to keep. They're worried that lower league teams won't have the attendances if everyone has access to watch the top flight play. I'm not entirely sure I believe that, but I think it's more to do with the Premier League just want more money out of it, and no one's willing to pay it right now. None of the broadcasters in the UK are willing to pay it. But yeah, it's one of those things where the Champions League games I miss far more, and the European games I miss far more than I watch, simply because of the time that they're on. Like 11 o'clock, 12 o'clock at night, I'm not staying up to watch us versus PAOK or whatever they're called in the Europa League. I'm not doing it.
To be honest, I get it. Now I can stay up late and watch, but for example, when I was younger, like 2011, 2012.
Really?
So when I was still at school. So every Champions League game that we had, I had to sleep. Like I had to sleep at 9 or 10 because I had school the next day. So I'd record the game and then I'd wake up. So like usually I'd wake up for school at like 6, but I'd wake up at 4 just to watch the game as if it's live. I used to do that every time. And now, like looking back, I don't know. It's just I don't know what was wrong with me.
Well, I mean, were those times good? I think that was still the Fergie era, right?
Yeah. So, but we were never doing well in the Champions League except for the 2011 season. But yeah, like 2011, 2012 Champions League, I think we exited in the group stage. 2012, 2013, I had to stay up for the Madrid games. To be honest, I couldn't sleep. Yeah.
Saying that you was at school in 2011 has aged me about 1,000 years. So it was just slightly before that I was still at school, just slightly, maybe a couple of decades, maybe a couple. But yeah, there's also another Manchester United connection with Dubai as well, because recently it was announced that, what's he called? Ravel Morrison was playing for a third division side out here, or second division side in the UAE. What do you, I know I'm going off on a tangent slightly, but I can't imagine he's getting paid a hell of a lot of money to play for a second division side in Dubai. But are you old enough, or do you remember enough of Ravel Morrison?
Yeah, for sure.
That you can remember just how good and promising that kid was.
100%. Yeah, no, I think he's one of the first players that I was old enough to realize, like, to know, this is a youth player. He's that good. He has a future and these things. He's him and Pogba were the first two that I actually took notice of. He was crazy good. Yeah, it was unbelievable. It's so sad, like how his career ended up. But I hope he's doing well now. He's doing well here because it came to light, like the reasons why these things that happened to him happened. You know, it was because of people around him, bad influences and these things. Yeah, well, but I hope like he's doing better now. He was so good. Like he's one. I think he was one of the best, if not the best player to come out of the academy in the past 20 years.
I mean, there's quotes that are well rehearsed from like any sort of journalist whenever they're talking about Ravel Morrison, with Fergie saying that he's the best youth product he's ever seen, best player on the ball he's ever seen, and every single manager that he's ever played for was like, I'm sure they went into that relationship with him thinking, I'll be the one that can finally tame him and get the best out of him. But he's such a mercurial person, and you know, I think he's had something like 12 different clubs. Yeah. It might be slightly less than that, but hopefully he's found a home in Dubai. Nice place to live, decent football standards. I'm sure the Saudi league will be over here poaching him soon enough. But yeah, all power to him. There we go then, the end of another episode of the Fergie Scum podcast. If you want to sign up for the newsletter, which should be going out tomorrow, Friday, then please do send us an email at Ahmed, go.
fergiesgumpodcast@gmail.com.
And then we can obviously add you to the newsletter. Again, we will, just to explain, it will be things about Manchester United, what's going on in the world of football, and just the stuff that we haven't got time for on the podcast that we maybe turn into a little article on these newsletters, which will come out weekly. There's no obligation, obviously. If you don't like the first one, just delete it and you never have to subscribe again. Also, as well, if you could review us on whatever platform that you listen to the podcast on, that'd be really helpful for us, because every single review helps to push us a bit further towards that front page, and then people find us, and then obviously, we can reach more ears. Reach more ears? Reach more ears, yeah.
It sounds wrong, but it makes sense. I don't know.
It does it does make sense. And by reviewers, I mean 5-star reviews. Unless it's a 10-star, then we want 10-star reviews, but definitely not a 1-star review, please, because that would just break our hearts. Anything to add to this, Ahmad?
And an X account?
Yes. That's it. That's exactly what you was going to say. But I'm refusing to call it X, mate.
Okay, Twitter. Yeah, sure. So we've set up a new Twitter account, so you can follow us on there. It's Fergie's Podcast as well, I think.
It is.
Yeah, follow us on all the socials.
We will start posting eventually, won't we?
Yeah, for sure.
When the moment comes. It's like Ten Hag, it's in progress. Anyway, thanks for listening, and we will speak to you again next week.